The following is a Podcast One Minnesota production.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, you betcha, yeah.
If it's made in Minnesota, who's making it and how?
Yeah, you got that right.
It's the makers of Minnesota, focusing on the products and services uniquely made in Minnesota, and conversations with the makers, entrepreneurs, and innovators in Minnesota about how they conceived of their products and how they brought them to market. With Stephanie Hansen, it's the makers of Minnesota.
Hi, this is Stephanie Hansen, and you're listening to The Makers of Minnesota, and this is a podcast where we talk to people in the state of Minnesota doing cool things. Today, we are talking to someone who's doing a really cool thing. His name is Zachary Quinn, and he is the co-founder of Love Your Melon. And I believe the first time I found out about Love Your Melon was there was this cute girl, and she was walking down Grand Avenue, and she had this really cute hat on. And it was like a beanie, and it had a little leather tag on it. And I was looking at it, and I poked her, and I said, "Hey, tell me about your hat. Where'd you get that?" She was like, "Oh my God, have you heard about these guys? They went to St. Thomas." So, hello, Zachary.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me on.
Do you go by Zach?
Zachary.
Zachary.
Yeah.
Okay, full name. So, tell me how you are sitting in class one day and you decide to create this company, or was it a project that you started working on?
It's funny you brought up Grand Avenue because that's the first place we sold beanies, and we sold about 100 of them our first day.
Oh, my
and
gosh.
Sold out of all of our beanies we had to sell within 2 days. It was over Thanksgiving weekend.
Okay, so I wonder if I was right on the cusp.
Maybe. Who knows how far back it was, because now it's been about 4.5 years that we've been working on this. It started as our class project, sophomore year of college in entrepreneurship, and we got carried away. We loved what we were doing, and we took it as far as we possibly could, and here we are now. So
when you start, you're a student and you're in your entrepreneur program. I'm assuming there's a number of kids that take that class.
Right.
And could you create any kind of company you wanted?
Yeah, you could start any business revolved around the class guidelines. There are a few different requirements, and by the end of the class, you were just supposed to turn a profit. And so we took the guidelines for what they were and broke most of the rules. And one of our main things we decided early on was, well, if we were only going to do this for a semester or for however long, we wanted to make a difference in the lives of other people that needed help. So we identified pretty quickly pediatric cancer as being something that didn't have as much support as it should. The population of children battling cancer is much smaller than adult cancer populations, significantly so, about 1%. For most statistics of all cancers is pediatric, and so there isn't a lot of funding for pharmaceutical companies in the drugs that are needed to help those kids. And so we decided we were going to give away money to cancer research from our class project. And so we started talking to local children's hospitals and reading books like the one from Tom Shoe's, Blake Makowski's book on his Buy One, Give One program. We thought that was a great idea because what we wanted to do was give customers the ability to make a difference themselves. By purchasing a product, they could know their own impact. And so we started that way, one for one, with the goal of giving a hat to every kid battling cancer in America, which is about 45,000. And we hit that about a year and a half later, where we were able to give a hat to every kid battling cancer in the country. And we switched over to now we give 50% of our profit to cancer research, to hosting adventures for kids, to doing family support models where we're paying mortgage or gas bills or food bills. So our impact, we decided instead of giving 10 hats to every kid battling cancer, we were going to give one to every kid that we ever encountered, and then also do work to make sure that we can fight cancer more efficiently and help support those families financially during their tough times they're going through.
Certainly a worthy cause. Did you know someone that had pediatric cancer, or why did that particular piece touch you so much?
No, we were trying to identify a population of people that needed help.
Underserved.
Yeah, underserved populations. And so pediatric cancer for us, we had heard about cancer in our communities and through some family and friends that had gone through cancer themselves, but no pediatric cancer. And so this was our first encounter with it. We decided we wanted to help. And as soon as we started doing this, I mean, that's when things really took a turn, and we've met so many incredible kids along the way.
And you researched the TOMS model, which at the time was a unique model. It was something that wasn't happening a lot. We're seeing it a little bit more now. What was it about? I mean, you have to start a company and you have to turn a profit. I don't want to say most entrepreneurs, but a lot of entrepreneurs, helping others isn't the first thing that's in their mind when they start their company. They see a need or they have something that they're really interested in. Why was that important to you and your partner when you first started?
I think growing up, it's always been important for me. I come from the restaurant business. My parents have restaurants in St. Paul.
Which ones?
Cafe Latte and Bread and Chocolate.
Oh, you're that Quinn.
Yeah.
Okay. Linda Quinn's son.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
and Peter Quinn.
Yeah.
I love them.
Yeah, and they've been incredible inspirations for me all along. I came along about 13 years after both my older brothers, so I was the baby of the family.
Sure.
And my parents took me to tons of fundraisers or got me out volunteering a ton as a kid. And even in high school, I'd go make peanut butter and jelly sandwiches or turkey sandwiches at the restaurant and go give them out to homeless people. And so that was always a part of like myself and like what I wanted to do. I'd get my friends looped in on doing it too. And so for me, starting this and working with Brian, we were like, yeah, this is what we want to do. We want to make a difference and make this be more meaningful as a class project than just trying to make a couple $100 from selling whatever product we're going to sell.
Yeah.
So it was our own intention to make a difference, and this is how we ended up doing it. Now, our other reason for starting the company was because we identified that people didn't have any cool beanies.
I was going to ask about that.
Yeah, because in Minnesota, it's pretty cold here. So we realized looking around, people were wearing hats, winter hats, but a lot of them were like from John Deere Tractor or like the Minnesota Wild or the Vikings, which by all means, those guys are great. But none of the beanies were fashionable, were well designed, and had a brand behind them, and especially with women. So we identified that there was a market need for that, and we created a cool brand of beanies, and that's how Love Your Melon
And
was
it went
born.
from there. And then this year, and maybe it was, I just paid attention to it this year, but it seemed like you introduced more things. Like there was the hat with the pom-pom and some more clothing. Did you just decide, well, the beanie idea is going so great, let's add some other items? And how do you decide to like do a sweatshirt, or what makes you add to the line?
Yeah, so we have a 16-person team that work for Love Your Melon, including myself, and we're always coming up with new ideas and products to come out with. What we want to make sure is that it fits our quality standards, our design standards, so that it really looks good and works with our brand. And so what we've identified is that we're very good at making knitwear. We make all of our knit in Minnesota. Every one of our products is made in the USA, but our knit especially is made here, actually in Mendota Heights. And so we can, with that knit, make anywhere from a beanie to a scarf or blanket to mittens. And so that's what we've started to work on, and really growing those lines to be one of the most well-known brands in the knitwear industry.
And Love Your Melon, obviously it says hat, but it's become, in my mind anyway, like more of a brand philosophy, as it were. Is that intended by you?
Yeah, the initial intention was that you'd love your head no matter whether you'd lost your hair from chemotherapy treatment or not, whether you'd gone bald or not, or whatever you looked like. You could put on a nice cozy hat that would keep you warm in the winter, and it would introduce you to this community of people that wanted to do good. And so that's how it began, and now it has become to signify even more than that. And Melon has become this incredible trend of people that want to do good for their communities and look good while they're doing it.
So do you mind if I ask how old you are today?
I'm 24 years old.
And your company is on its third year?
4.5.
Is it 4.5? It's
Yeah.
been that long? So, okay. You are a young man. You're running a company. You have a manufacturing facility. You have 16 employees. Did it all transpire organically, or do you ever like wake up and think, oh my God, how is it that I'm running this company of 16 people and they're all counting on me for their livelihood? Does it ever feel overwhelming?
Well, it grew slowly. Even though 4.5 years sounds like a short amount of time, it was progressive. We did the next step. We always knew it was coming a month in advance. And so that helped us predict what we had to do next and how we had to grow and respond to the market demand. I mean, I'm sure listeners out there have seen how sold out we are all the time with our products online. We've been working to fix that, but it's because we come out with such unique product lines consistently. Like last year, we came out with 2,500 different types of beanies, different color palm variations, and that's what we're trying to do, is create unique new products that people can identify as their own and really come to love and come back and keep purchasing more and get like a full collection. So
Sure.
we, it's grown progressively. Our biggest things that we've had to deal with in that growth are manufacturing capabilities, because U.S. manufacturing is not where it needs to be. And we're, I think, having a significant impact on that, contributing to about 120 jobs in the U.S. from fulfillment to manufacturing needs. As well, we've had fulfillment issues to bring that up, to make sure people get their products on time. Because we went on the Today Show, I remember, a couple years back, and we had 2,500 hats to sell on our website, and they sold out that day, even though the website crashed 5 times. And so for the next 2 weeks, we were shipping out all 2,500 hats ourselves. And so we've gone back and forth between working for other companies or with other companies versus doing the fulfillment ourselves. And we finally have good fulfillment partners that are getting products out within a 2-day period. So, so people receive them within the week, which has been great. But there's been things we've had to figure out all along the way that have really been great learning experiences. It's become our education. I don't know if you know this, but I dropped out of college.
I didn't.
So right after the class project, I dropped out, decided to run this full time, ended up going back to school because people stopped buying beanies in the summertime. And that's when it really took off. So I ended up finishing 2 years of college, and then I dropped out after that for good.
Do you feel like, just going to be like your mom and dad here, do you feel like when you look back at that decision, was that the right decision? Do you think you'll go back in time?
No, I highly doubt it. I think I've learned so much more than I could ever have learned, because the way my mind thinks is I have to be hands-on. I have to be working on something that I know is going to have an impact for it too. And really, it's a testament to how good this program was at St. Thomas in entrepreneurship, that we were able to create real-world impact in a class.
Right.
It's like very cool. But there's a lot of education that isn't to that standard yet. And so I feel like we've got a team of 16 people. We're doing anything from running all of our manufacturing and design to our ambassador program of 13,000 college students across the country, and the impact's huge. So I think as far as it being a good decision or not, yes, it started as a gap year that I convinced my parents to let me take. And
I can just see your mom and dad knowing them just like, what?
A long gap year. And they're entrepreneurs in their own right, and they've been the best support pieces that I could have had along the way. And so I thank them for that, obviously.
So the beanie business slows down. You think you're going to go back to school. You end up creating, tell me about, so part of your product that I think is unique is not only, the designs are unique, but this way you came up with these ambassadors to help you market and distribute and brand the products. Can you talk about your college program?
Yeah, so it started with a nationwide tour that we did. Bought this old hockey bus. It was a coach that they used to get around to hockey games. And it was about 20 years old, had almost 1 million miles, 990,000 miles on it. And we ripped out all the chairs and equipment from it and put in bunk beds, and then got a wrap put on it by 3M, local in town.
Yep.
It looked like a giant Love Your Melon billboard, and we were driving it all around the country. And what we'd do is we'd go to college campuses, sell as many hats as we could to the students there, and then go to the local children's hospital and donate the same amount of hats. And so this was before we had given a hat to every kid battling cancer in America.
Yep.
And so we would meet these students at the campuses that we were going to, and they wanted to come with. So we'd give them superhero costumes. We'd have them come into the hospital and give away hats with us, because every one of our hats is currently given by a superhero, which can mean a professional athlete, a celebrity, or just somebody putting on a costume.
Yeah, a lot of superheroes in life.
Icebreaker for the kids, and that they know their beanie came from Batman or Kyle Rudolph on the Minnesota Vikings.
A totally weird question, but you're calling these hospitals like, hi, we're these college kids, and we have this bus, and we have all these hats. Can we come bring them to your hospital, were they all receptive?
No, not entirely. We got said no to a lot, but we're very good at talking our way into things and getting through to people. So we would end up making these connections with these college students across the country, and they would want to continue doing it after we left. That's what kickstarted our ambassador program. We had to figure out how to give away roughly 30,000 hats a year to continue making sure that every kid that gets diagnosed still gets a hat. So we give away roughly 30,000 hats a year continuously. And so our college ambassadors are the ones that dress up as superheroes and go give them out.
Wow.
And it's a really cool program. They're incredible individuals across the country.
And how much did social media play in your story?
A lot. I mean,
As a young man, you probably knew a little bit about social media and probably used it yourself. Did you really immerse yourself in how to create engagements and followers, or was it just way more organic than that?
No, we just knew how to do it. We're using it as our platform to tell our story. And that's why it worked, because everything about it was authentic. We were just sharing what we were doing, whether it was being at our manufacturing facilities, working on our products, or being out donating hats, or out setting up tables and trying to sell hats to keep going. And that's what led people to want to follow us and watch what we were doing, because they knew it was authentic and that.
And there wasn't even that much video then.
No, social media has changed since we started considerably, and we've had to adapt to it. And now it's become a big part of our advertising budget that we spend on Facebook and Instagram. Are great partners. You'll see our sponsored post out there all the time. What's changed is that you don't get the kind of organic interaction on social media, especially Facebook, anymore. And so we advertise through it.
People are surprised by that. I think entrepreneurs, they started out using it and it was this very social, easy, free medium. But as more and more we go on here and those companies get smarter about advertising, it's hard to get seen unless you are paying for posts, wouldn't you say?
You don't really get seen at all anymore unless you are.
Yeah.
Instagram you do still, but that'll just change as they figure out how to monetize it.
Yeah, and it's not fully there yet.
Snapchat is really so far from being there. Although we've tested out doing like the filters on Snapchat.
Yeah.
Because our college students the ambassadors are at over 850 institutions across the country, colleges and universities. And so we've done filters that appear only on those campuses and stuff, and they've worked well, but they need to come a little bit ways further before they can make that make sense.
And that's interesting coming from you, because a lot of people my age, Snapchat's not really something that they're super familiar with, but I would imagine you are. So that what I hear about Snapchat as a social media marketer myself is that it's hard to utilize it in a business sense.
Right.
And that there's just this barrier for whatever reason.
You get consumers that are interacting with your filters, whatever you're doing, based on their inherent love for your brand already, but you're not getting any new customers based off of it.
Yep. When you are on a college campus, have you expanded the line where you're selling other stuff now too, or are you still primarily doing hats and then selling other things on the website?
No, it's all of our sales are web-based currently. Roughly 95% of them, at least. The rest are done through like boutique shops around the country and custom projects with other brands. We haven't officially launched those programs yet, but we will on April 3rd, and we estimate them to become about 20 to 25% of our business.
So let's talk about that, because you're zeroing in on about a $3 million company right now, and my understanding is you've partnered with some other brands to co-brand items. Is that what you're looking at?
I'm confused about the $3 million.
Maybe I read that wrong. I think that was in something that I read online.
Oh, we can try that again.
Maybe it's a donation that you've made.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Yeah, it is $2.6 million.
Okay.
That we've given.
So if you're given $3 million, you're making a lot more than that.
Yeah. So
no wonder you're confused. You're like, wait, what happened? I lost value overnight.
Yeah. So we did $21.5 million in revenue.
God, is it that much?
Yeah.
That is so excellent.
Yeah, and we give half of our profit away, so we retain the same amount as we donate. So this year we expect to give about $3 million more.
That's excellent.
To our nonprofit partners, and so anywhere from cancer research to a group of Navy SEALs that partners with kids going through treatment and gives them like Navy SEAL training on rock climbing courses and stuff. It's really cool stuff that we're doing.
And you have only 16.
That's all possible because of our nonprofit partners.
Yeah, and you only have 16 employees, so
we try to run lean.
Profit margin's got to be real good.
Well, we try to, because then the more that we can make, it's calculated after tax that we retain the same amount that we've donated. So it's 50% of our profit. And the more that we can make, the more we can give. And the more inventory we can buy the next year and continue to grow. So it makes sense.
And do you think you'll always stay with the mission of cancer, or will there be other medical maladies that maybe you'll undertake partnering with?
Love Your Melon is a brand. It's always been about pediatric cancer, and we'll continue to do that. Although when we go into children's hospitals, there's oftentimes kids that we see with other diseases.
Sure.
And we don't leave them out of it. So we'll end up giving them hats too. That's why even with roughly 15,000 kids diagnosed each year with cancer, we give away about 30,000 to make sure we've made a good experience for everyone every time we go into a children's hospital.
Do you see, there's just so many directions you could go with this and so many partnerships. Is that still exciting for you?
Yeah, absolutely. So what we've done is we're changing over. We've done like 95% of our sales in the past have been online, and that's spread between beanies to caps to T-shirts and long sleeves to bags. I mean, like a full line of women's and men's wear that we've done, all made in America. But now we're going to move into doing both a large-scale boutique retail program that launches April 3rd that boutique shops can purchase from us for like next season to sell our hats
inside
in
their stores. Yeah.
Because what we've identified is that many of our customers, or potential customers more so, don't think that they can buy the products because they're always sold out.
Yep.
We've fixed a lot of those issues now, and what I think will happen is once they see them in their local boutique shop, they're just going to pick them up. So it's going to be a great way for them, the boutique shop owners, to get people into their stores. They pick up this high demand product and item, and so great for them on social media and everything else. So we'll be a great partner for them in that way. And then also at the same time, we're launching our custom program so that companies with us can make co-branded or singular branded beanies with their logos, and then they can give them away to their staff for holiday parties, or they can do a 5K run with it.
So almost like promotional products.
Event participants with their 5K initiation fee get a beanie with it instead of a T-shirt. Because people always get T-shirts.
Yeah.
How exciting would you be to get a beanie if you went to your local yoga class that day and paid $50 and you get both?
And will it still be a Love Your Melon branded, or?
Yeah, it still will be a Love Your Melon product on the care labels. And in the co-branded case, so it's all done based on minimums. Like if you order a certain amount, you can do it co-branded.
Yep.
If you order another amount, you could do it singular branded if you don't want our logo on it. But then it'll allow people to identify themselves with the cause. So it'll still give back the 50% of profit that's made off of those products. Will go back to our mission and cause. And so they're really a part of the program still. It'd be great marketing for them and great event promotion. We've done some cool case studies with Facebook as a partner, with Lululemon as a partner. Even the St. Patty's Day parade at Cross Lake this year did it, and they just sold out of 600 hats. So we've done these test runs, and now we're going to launch that full scale on the 3rd of April.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it'd be fun.
So when you lay in bed at night and you're getting ready to go to work the next day, like, what are you excited to do when you go?
Work with awesome people. We've got an incredible staff of 16, as we talked about. They're all similar in mindset, hardworking. They spend tons of hours thinking and living Love Your Melon. And it's really good going into work and seeing everything that's been created throughout the day or overnight and all the progress that's been made. And we're always coming up with new ideas, whether it's for the college ambassadors or for new designs or products. So that's a lot of fun. And then I get to come talk to cool people like you and do these things. So these are a lot of fun too.
When you have you ever like laid in bed and just been worried? Like, I mean, it sounds like you had some issues with fulfillment early on. What is like a real disaster?
For 2 weeks in the middle of the peak season, that really worries me. And we've done significant efforts to fix that, but stuff always happens. Like, even though we provide our projections to our fulfillment companies, and if they're not fully prepared and have 100 employees ready to ship out 50,000 orders that come in on Cyber Monday, then it's going to take 2 weeks to fulfill them. And so that stuff will keep me up at night. But for the most part, we've we've made great strides to not have that happen, and we've got good partners that stand behind what they say they're going to do.
What other companies in town or even nationally, are there people you admire that you're like, that guy, that girl, she does it all right?
Yeah, there's a cool watch brand right now I've been following, Daniel Wellington. They really do their social media right, their products right, promotions right. That's cool.
Do you have mentors
we still
locally?
really like Chubby's, the shorts brand out of California, and they're made in the USA too, or were at least a while ago, last time I talked to them. But there's just some other great brands around. Lululemon's always our favorite. Come into our office, and that's what the entire staff's wearing all the time.
Yep.
We give it away as gifts to our ambassadors, even though we can make our own. Lululemon stuff is just so well made, and it's awesome. We do have limitations as far as what we can make being in the U.S., and that's why we've been lucky to do knitwear and leather goods, because we do have capabilities for that here. When you get into the more highly technical stuff, it's almost impossible. I went to Magic in Las Vegas. It's a convention
for the fashion
manufacturing, and it's about 4 to 5 million square feet of booth space of manufacturers of brands setting up their tables. The U.S. manufacturing section is about 20,000 square feet of the 5 million. It's just wildly underserved.
Yet made in the
market.
USA says a lot on a label to a lot of people.
Yeah. But the manufacturing capabilities just aren't there.
Right.
When we started making our knit beanies, it was with a company out in Portland, Oregon, and it sounded like a lot to us then, but they could only make about 1,000 a month. We still continue to work with them on some small projects, but now we can make 150,000 units a month. We'll produce about 1.5 million products this year.
Do you follow Shinola at all?
Yeah, Shinola's cool.
Yeah, another brand out of Detroit, and very Minnesota, or not Minnesota made. Made in the USA is very important to them.
Yeah.
It would be interesting for you to maybe visit them. I can set you up with a contact in their manufacturing division, because they've taken their products and they've been training a workforce in Detroit. So kind of that same helping someone help others philosophy, and they've been creating their own workforce in effect, which has just been, I was able to tour the plant. It was really interesting. So I'll hook you up with them.
Well, that's great. That's good.
It was just, if it's like, if you can't find it, maybe you have to make it, which is sort of what you've done.
Yeah.
Did you think that you're being this wildly successful in retail, selling hats in a climate where people are like, oh, retail's dying and everybody's buying things online, and yet you're starting to work with boutiques? You're almost in some ways doing the reverse of what's popular.
Yeah, we figure the reason why people don't go into shops anymore is because there's no longer a experience in doing so, and they can't get the products that they see on social media and love and want. And so we're going to be providing these shops with a service to get people in their stores. It won't be as larger margins as when you buy something from China.
Yep.
But we, in effect, will have sold the product through social media already, and people will just be going to pick them up. We test run it with the Minnetonka General Store in December, and they sold 2,000 units, and really incredible volume there.
Yep.
So we're gonna continue working on that with our boutique shop partners, and providing them with consumers that come through their doors and then get to talk about the Love Your Melon story and be a part of that community, and then
it's totally
probably
interesting.
buy other stuff too.
You're kind of blowing my mind in the way that you're thinking about this, and it's smart, really smart. And I don't know, the idea that you're a boutique and you're going to buy someone's product and bring it into your store as a way to help them sell it. You're using we already have pre-sold this for you, boutique, so we're going to put this in your store as our chosen retailer so that you can sell your other stuff.
Yeah.
Because people are going to come here because they're going to want this because we've already pre-sold it for you.
Yeah, and then they'll have a good experience. They'll talk about Love Your Melon and how much they love the work that we do, and then maybe they'll buy a blouse or something else.
Yeah, exactly. Interesting.
Or a men's shirt. We're trying to get into the selling to men as well, but women identify themselves more with the Love Your Melon brand for a variety of reasons. I believe we do make men's products. Our caps, our beanies are all unisex, and so we've been working towards it, but definitely women buy a lot more from us right now.
Mm-hmm. And you're a guy, are there brands that you see and think, oh, that's cool, like the Harry's shavers.
Yeah, Harry's is cool. I
That's-
don't use them.
It's crazy how, I mean, they're selling a $20
I use a
razor.
trimmer. They should start making a trimmer.
Yeah.
Maybe I'd buy that from them.
But I mean, that they're selling basically what was a disposable razor package
Yeah.
and selling it online and selling it direct response. That's a pretty cool story.
Yeah, that's a cool company. I have to think of other ones that I really like. I mean, I know Hammermaid's local.
Yep.
They're a good brand. Evereve, who's one of our other boutique shop partners, is
Yep.
a great company based out of Edina. And they've got 65 locations. They sold out of 1,600 hats that they ordered within a couple weeks
Yeah.
in December. So we've done case studies on this. We know the market's there. They sell out so quickly that, like, they want more inventory. And by that time, we've sold out of it online, too.
Yeah.
But now we're finally able to produce enough capacity on our machinery to make enough hats, and so that we're providing that to our boutique shops and our custom program.
How much do you work every week?
I'd probably say about 80 hours a week we're focused on this and thinking about it, and that goes for everybody. I mean, there's people that probably put in 100 hours in the office.
Right.
People work hard.
And you have I saw your logo on a facility on Washington Avenue.
Yeah, we have a manufacturing. We have a warehouse.
Yep.
in Minneapolis that stores our inventory. Our manufacturing plant is in Mendota Heights.
Mm-hmm.
Warehouse is in Minneapolis. We're out of Capella Tower downtown now
Okay.
as our offices. And then we do all of our fulfillment for e-com and for our wholesale program out of our warehouse in Devens, Massachusetts.
Okay. Cool. What's next for you?
Well,
You're just going to keep
the
going?
Midwest is not our only large region. The East Coast is growing faster than the Midwest now. And it's, I think, even beat it now in size total. So that's why it's interesting. We do all of our shipping for e-commerce sales out of Devens, Massachusetts, which is a couple hours outside of Boston. But we're currently working on moving from our warehouse to, we're going to partner with King Solutions to do our wholesale and our ambassador program fulfillment.
Yep.
And then we're working on launching these two new programs. The custom one's going to be a big deal, and I think we're going to get a lot of interaction and excitement off of
Sure.
that. And then what else are we doing? We just joined the Facebook Small Business Council.
Uh-huh. That's pretty neat. Tell me about
April
that.
5th and 6th, we're going out with a bunch of other small to medium-sized businesses that do a lot of advertising and perform well on Facebook and Instagram. And so we're going to go join them and help them talk through like how they can innovate and do better in providing companies with the ability to advertise on social media.
So they're
making it
using
successful
you
for
and
them.
your case studies to help other advertisers understand how the power of Facebook works and get some
Right, 'cause
success stories.
I know everybody now wants to advertise on social media, and it's easy to want to do that. It's much harder to implement it, and so
and to
I think we
implement it
need to-
well.
Yeah, and we need to provide some guidance maybe to Facebook and Instagram in how they get people on the same page and make it possible for them to be successful, because it won't mean anything to them if somebody puts $100 at an ad for their local dentist office and it doesn't turn anything over.
Right.
What they need to figure out is how to get it to work so that the partnership is in place, so the advertising benefits both them
Yeah.
as a social media company and also the companies doing the advertising.
And I think we're seeing some of that with the like geofencing type of technology. Have you experienced with any of that at all?
Yeah, our advertisements are like really complex. We do anything from weather-based advertising
Right.
to just creating hundreds of lists a day of different segments and testing them against each other, testing different words or images. And what makes us so successful is that our content is so authentic and so new. Every week we do about 3 to 5 different photo shoots now, whether it's from events that we're hosting or in manufacturing plants or just new product shoots. And so they're always new photos, so people are always excited to see them and interact with them, and they see a new product they like or
The cult of Love Your Melon.
get to be a part of it.
Are you
Part
guys
of a
doing all of
community.
that from your 16 staff location, or have you hired an agency, or have you considered it?
We do all of our own photography, all of our own social media marketing in-house. We get a lot of content from our consumers, like people that
Sure.
tag us in posts and
Yep.
take their own photographs wearing beanies all around, caps all around
Isn't that
the country.
amazing? They're like doing half your job for you.
Well, they're doing a good job,
Yeah.
a better job than we can do in a lot of cases at taking good photographs because they know how they look and they'll know how their beanie is going to look.
And
on
they
them,
look real.
And they're authentic. And
Yeah.
so that content's coming in, and we're now reposting that and tagging them in it so they can get more followers on social
Yep.
media. And it's a big network that's working together. We have a great PR company that we use, Lola Red PR.
Yep.
But we
Our
do
friend
a lot
Alexis Walsko.
a lot of our stuff is done in-house, and it's great that way. We can have control over elements that we need to have control over.
If you could buy a company in the state of Minnesota right now, like, is there somebody where you're just like, man, I want them. They're amazing.
I could buy a company. We're focused so much on our own growth that thinking about working on another project right now is like a
It's a
lot.
little-
So
Your mom and dad must be proud of you.
yeah, they're doing good. And I'd like to turn them into an e-commerce based company too. Ship cakes all around the country. That would be really cool.
Oh my God, please do.
Cafe latte, yeah.
Yeah, they have a really unique brand, unique product. It's just
Well, I think everybody needs to experience it more. We're in Costco now with the Cafe Latte gift cards.
I didn't know that. Yeah.
My brother's helping run the show over there now. My parents are still there every day, but we're gonna hopefully expand that over the next few years. And
And that bread and chocolate, those croissants, I mean, those are
Yeah.
crazy good too. I think those could be sold.
we should be able to get them into other stores or other restaurants to be used. But also, I think we should be able to figure out how to ship them all
Yeah.
around the country and then sell them online. So when your daughter's at college, you can
She
send
wants
her
a
a Love
turtle
Your Melon
cake.
beanie and a turtle cake overnight.
I would
and,
love that.
Yeah, she can experience being home without. Really
You must
being-
know my daughter because A, she loves your beanies, and she got a couple for Christmas, and she wore them. She goes to the University of Vermont, and she
No,
called
I
me.
don't know her. What's her name?
Her name's Ellie, but
Okay.
she called me and she was like, "Mom, everybody wants a beanie here. Like, where can they buy them?" So I had to send her a link to the website. A couple of the kids had known about them and wanted them. So there you go.
Cool.
You have ambassadors all over. Well, it's been really fun to talk to you.
Yeah, it's been great talking to you too.
Really have enjoyed. What do you do for hobbies that you
I like
when you
skiing and
fit in your
snowboarding
80
a
hours
lot.
a week?
We like skiing and snowboarding a lot. I grew up next to Afton Alps on the St. Croix River, so I did the summertime counterparts
Sure.
of those, the wakeboarding and water skiing, and
Yep.
so we kind of balanced our lives out with that and hanging out with friends, going on adventures and cooking good food.
Yep.
Definitely learned that from my mother, and
Yeah, your mom was a good cook.
you like
need-
wine too? You
Yeah.
like good wine?
You need to listen to our radio show about food on the weekends.
Yeah.
I think your
absolutely.
mom listens,
You
actually.
should get her on this. She would never do it, but
I think I
You should
invited her
maybe
or Peter
encourage
once.
her.
Your dad, just a funny story about your dad. I used to have to call on your dad for advertising for a publication. And your dad was like the crabbiest man to call because they were always so busy. And then I ended up meeting him like in person somewhere. And he was so nice. And he
he's
introduced
the
me.
sweetest guy.
And he
ever.
introduced me to your mom. And it did not occur to me until like days later that was the same guy because I was calling on him when they were just getting started.
No, he does
and-
get crabby on the phone sometimes.
Yeah.
I think it's because he used to get so many telemarketer calls for some reason. I remember that from childhood. He would not like being on the phone, but he is the sweetest guy
Yeah,
ever.
and
You'll
it was-
see him bussing tables at the restaurant.
Yes, that was
almost
my
every
total
day,
experience
and,
with them,
he's-
and I just laughed.
He's incredible. They're both amazing, and they're going to do great things. I think my brother would be far more inclined to
Take
on
the call.
marketing PR piece. He'd be happy to be in here. And
And didn't your sister-in-law
doing
have
that.
Quince, the store?
Yeah, no, not talking about that.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm
Quince
sad.
is gone.
I know, and I was sad that it was gone. So
Yeah, it's okay.
very, very sad.
It was a good hobby for my mom for a while, but not anymore.
Yeah, it was a cool.
Don't bring that up.
It was a cool store. All right. Well, good luck as you're moving. Is there any retailer that you'd like to mention here? So if people are hearing the podcast, that maybe they can check out. Is there?
No, I don't think our beanies are not in any stores currently, but they will be after April 3rd, I'm sure.
Okay, so
This is a call out for boutique shops and
yeah,
for
absolutely.
companies and nonprofits everywhere to check out our custom and our wholesale page on loveyourmelon.com starting
right.
April 3rd. That'll be really cool.
And we'll put a link
You'll
in
be able to find that. And then if you don't have a beanie or if you want a baseball cap, because now it's getting warm out again.
I
or
noticed
any of
that
our other
you're,
apparel,
diversifying a
check it
little
out.
bit.
Yeah, there's a lot of new products on the website.
That's very cool. Well, thanks for being our guest today. And people will be able to find you at loveyourmelon.com, right?
Yeah, happy to be here. Thank you.
All right. Thanks.